All right, folks, what we're doing today, I'm out here in my little boat shed right here. We've got a brand new Mercury 25 horse we put on this 16-foot vhull boat. And we're going to be adding let me get the packaging here. This is a Stingray Junior. Just a hydrofoil. Bought it at Cabela's. Fairly cheap, fairly reasonable. But we're doing some final touches to this boat. It's nearing the end. Needed just a little bit of help out there, and I think the hydrofoil is going to be the way to do it. So I just want to show you how we're adding that today. And pretty simple job, but there's not a whole lot of information out there about it. So we'll see what we can do. It's a little dark back here, sort of behind this boat. But as you can see right here, I've already pre-drilled my holes in the anti-cavitation plate of this Mercury. And all I did, I just laid this up here and got it center. And got my holes to line up. So really simple. On the 25 horse, these are made to be cut. Let me show that to you right quick. So you've got these slots here with these screws, and these are made to be cut. Let me turn that light off. These little grooves, and you can just, and it can be a two-piece, because most of the small ones, until you get to, there's one that's like 2 horsepower up to the 9.9, and that's what this one is the 9.9 plus. And this is supposed to cover you all the way through 35 horsepower. But depending on the shape and how much width you have on your anti-cavitation plate will determine if you have to cut those pieces and turn it into 2 separate pieces or not. Luckily with the 25 horse, there's enough room. So it should be simple. I'm going to get the bolts started in this. As far as I can tell, all we have to have here is these nuts here, and then these are a Phillips head screw. So I'm going to get some tools together, and we'll be right back with you. One more quick thing I wanted to mention here. If you look on the back side of this hydrofoil, there's a little lip here on where the screw would go through it. And as far as the hardware goes, there's these little rubber washers that go on there, and they're supposed to fit very snug and stay put. And this will go in between the hydrofoil, of course, and the anti-cavitation plate on the engine. So I just wanted to mention that because if you're anything like me, you don't read instructions, and I just got curious on what these were actually for. And so yeah, that's the purpose, is just to sort of isolate this as a separate piece. And then, like I said, just four screws and nuts, and you don't even have to have a wrench because the hydrofoil itself has little hex shaped pieces in there. So I'm gonna get this started down here, and we'll take a final look. I'm gonna try to hold the camera here. As you can see, we've got the bolts started in all the holes, everything lined up perfectly. And I'm just going to tighten these down, and this install will be done, and then we'll start unboxing and unpacking the new Garmin fish finder for the boat. Okay, folks, that is the end of the install. A couple final thoughts here. Something I didn't think to show before. If you look underneath, you can see the trim tab there. And you just want to make sure when you're drilling your holes that you leave plenty of room for everything that's in under there, and that'll ease everything. And but everything turned out good. It's tight, and these are supposedly guaranteed to never come off of the boat. So we'll see if that's correct or not. But now let's move on to the Garmin, and we'll go from there. All right, folks, what we have here is a Garmin Striker 7-inch with side view. I like the Striker series. I've been using one for a long time. Right here on the front of my boat is the Striker 4, and its transducer is connected to the trolling motor, so I can see directly what is underneath the trolling motor. However, for the ease of finding structure and things of that nature, we needed something closer to the back here where I'm going to be driving. We can idle and look for, you know, brush piles and things of that nature. So the Striker 7SV seems like the way to go. Okay, so I'm going to go over everything that comes in the box with the 7SV. Of course, you've got your unit. Nothing fancy about it. The next thing that I got out of the box was this base for, what's disappeared now? Oh, here it is. That's your gimbal base. This is what the unit actually snaps into. The next two pieces, this one we're not going to use. This is made to do like what's on the front of the boat and go to the bottom of the trolling motor. So we're not going to use that piece. Throw it in the box. Bag of hardware for running into like where we're going to run the wires into the deck here. You got a power wire. You have this actually bolts to the transducer itself, and it's got this spot here that goes into this, and this is actually what mounts on the back of the boat. Be right there. So, and of course you got instructions. The transducer itself with, I'm not sure how much cable this is. I assume it's 20 feet like the other one was. And then this is your, this will go from your transducer wire here to the back of the unit back here. You have two plugs. So, and that is all that comes in the box. However, I did buy the protective cover like the one that's on the front up there, because although, I mean, we're inside a building here, but I do want, in case this ever does sit outside, if we're on a trip somewhere, whatever, I don't want the sun to damage the screen, because that one up there at the front had already started to get a little bit of a sunspot, and we don't want that to happen to the new one. So, without any further, I think we're going to try to set up and see where we're going to want the actual unit first, and then we'll figure out how we're going to run our wires to the back of the boat. Okay, so I've got this one screwed in, and the one thing I didn't show that I probably should have is right there on the back side there's a little hex, and there's a little lock nut that goes up inside of that, and that is for this screw to screw into when you put this piece down on it. Now this has full rotation here. Let me back up. Full rotation like that, but you can lock it anywhere you want it. So put that on, and then it should be a matter of starting that screw right there. And then hopefully just the tightening of that screw. I don't know how tight that actually. That's probably tight enough, because I want it to sort of move with ease a little bit. Yeah, see right there, that's tight. So I'm gonna back that screw out just a little bit, because I do want to be able to see it when I'm standing up there on the front deck. So there to there, because thinking about sitting right back there and this sitting here sort of angled up back that way. I think that'll be just right. Okay, so now what we have to do is there's these 2 screws that go in the side of this and in the side of this. And I reckon that's all we have to do. Well, let's put that on. All right. We have the actual unit mounted. So we'll be sitting back there, can look here. But if we want to stand on the front deck, the unit will spin all the way around and we'll be able to see side imaging behind the boat off of that. So that's pretty freaking nifty out there. I think we're gonna like that a lot. Okay, well, I'm to the point now where I'm gonna have to actually read some instructions as far as the wiring goes, because I think I'm gonna have to use all these wires on this particular unit, but I'm not 100% sure. I know on the Striker 4, we didn't use neither of these 2 wires. You just use the red and the black, but I'm gonna do some reading because I don't know. So I'm gonna do some reading through the instructions and probably come back at this tomorrow, because I'm gonna need a little bit of time to figure out. I could run my transducer wire under this bench and pull this back panel up and fish it through and do all that, or I could just run it in this groove here all the way to the back of the fish finder. And that's what I sort of want to do, just for the ease of it. And then I only have to drill a small hole right here to feed that wire through. So I'm gonna do some reading, figure out what we have to do, and then we will go from there, because I have a few of these, a little bit of this stuff here to make it work. So I'm gonna put this cover on it and see what happens. Okay, so here's what we've done so far. I drilled a hole here and then added this cover, and then the transducer wire, because of this piece and it being 2 different cables here, I didn't want to drill that big a hole back here, and so I had enough room where I could run it along this hinge and tuck it in this gap here. We coiled up and tied our wire here, screw in wire tie there. It's gonna be a little dark back here. Let me turn this on. There's that, and then the transducer will come down to the bottom of the boat. I don't have a drill bit tonight. Everything's at my shop. That's small enough, and I don't have my sealant here. It's also at the shop. I normally do most of my work there, but anyway, so I'll have to come back and do that. But this thing, on the inside here, this is my power wire. I'll have to tie it down into my other wires, and then this comes to my switch and fuse panel over there. So we're very close to having this thing rigged and ready to go out. Finally. All right, folks, it's been a couple days, but I did want to show you. Turn the power on back here. That we did finally get the old Garmin unit wired up. I'll show you how I did the transducer in a minute. Show you how it's going to come on. I've already had it out on the lake. As you can see, traditional clear view, side view. I added this one that's just traditional clear and side view. This one here that I didn't change the name of. But so far, really liking this unit. It's going to help a lot. Let me show you how we had to do the transducer back here on the back. Of course, you've seen we just coiled it here and come over the side, run down, and it's got its own little clip here. Now this is level with the bottom of the boat, but this isn't the very bottom of the boat. It's got just a hair of a V down to this center point here for the drain plug. So there's no way for this to get hit by anything, because in all honesty, the skeg's going to hit bottom long before this does. Had to drill 2 holes in the transom. I just didn't want to wait on one of the blocks to come in. But if I remember right, I think I drilled 9/16 holes. And these screws were like thread cutting type screws anyway. So I drilled a hole that was just a little bit smaller than the screw. Screwed it in. Used some marine grade sealant on the threads as it went in. And we have 0 leaks. And it is pretty good. So that is going to finish up the install. Of course, in here now I've got life jackets and things like that in here, but this is the fuse panel. Garmin recommends, and I'll say it, you probably shouldn't run it to a fuse panel. However, this is the easiest way for me to get power. That one that's on the front has been run to this fuse panel for a while. I've seen no negative effects, but I'm just going to tell you what the book says. The book says run it straight to a battery. I don't know. Anyway, this is a power and ground fuse block, so just run both my wires here. It runs under and then out there, as we seen earlier in the video, and everything works, and it works really, really good. If you have any questions about the Garmin 7-inch side view, side imaging unit, feel free to leave me a comment. And if you have any questions about the Hydrofoil install, you can leave me a comment on that as well. Like I said, if you have any questions at all about anything you've seen in this video, leave a comment below and I'll try to get back with you. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.